It is what it is, you know.
Yeah. Welcome to Word on the Street number 3. I'm Zach Fennie, singer-songwriter. This is my friend Moss, also known as Brandon Kerrigan, another local musician here in the Napa Valley. And we're going to interview him and talk about his life and what he's been up to. But before we get into that, we're going to give a quick recap on the things that I've been up to this week. I played 5 gigs this week. 4 public gigs. Yeah, that is a lot. That's way more than I feel like I should have been doing myself. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But
gotta make that bread.
Yeah, they're all very long gigs too. I did a private event for a housing group out in Foster City. That was pretty cool. I was at a hotel out there on Thursday. Then on Friday, I played at the Saint, where I'm gonna continue playing this Friday and this upcoming Friday and the Friday after that, and another Friday in February too. That's in St. Helena. They're a nice wine bar. They gave me this wonderful bottle of wine. In fact, we are drinking the Barnett Vineyards 2017 Pinot Noir.
Smells like butterflies, Zach.
That's just what the sommeliers tell me when I'm asking them about the wine. Can you tell me about this Pinot? Oh, it smells like butterflies. Then on Saturday and Sunday, I had 2 gigs at Black Stallion Winery back to back. They do a kind of a cool monthly thing for their wine club members there, and they do 3 hours worth of live music both days. And then last night, we did something that was pretty cool that I haven't really heard about anything like this going on around the valley recently. We did a secret house show. We've been doing house shows at my house. Moss has played 2, just 1?
I think I've only played this one and then the secret one.
So you played 2 so far,
right
yeah.
Now.
But all the other ones have been public. We've invited everyone. This one, we wanted to do it a little differently. And the main reason for that was that we were doing it inside my house as opposed to outside, which is significantly less space. But what happened was I had a touring band from Chicagoland, they called it, which means surrounding areas.
It's like we take San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly, just like that.
We're San Francisco artists.
Yeah, and they're called Matthew, Michael, and Christina Marie, and that's as far as I'm aware, they're the only duo that has 4 first names in their band name.
Yeah, that was really confusing.
It was confusing. We kept Matthew, Miranda, and Michael Charlie. But no, they came through and played in our living room. They were on tour from Chicago. They were hitting up a lot of places in California. They're a acoustic, I guess I call them a folk duo. I don't know what else I'd call them.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, acoustic kind of indie folk duo. They were really, really, really good. They just had this really beautiful emotional music. What was interesting, I felt like they had this really vintage thing that they did, which they had everything they ran through. We had a full PA set up in my living room, but they ran everything through one condenser mic. That's 2 vocals and 2 instruments. They both played instruments ranging from...
It picked up everything. I mean, that's why they have the condenser.
Yeah, it picked it up really well. I've just never seen... I've seen a duo do stuff like that. Or I've seen a solo act do stuff like that before. I've never seen a duo, at least live in person, do stuff. I thought that was really, really interesting. And it's a really old school kind of vintage looking microphone. It was really cool.
Definitely.
And to top it off, they were super, super nice. Just some of the nicest people I've ever had the pleasure of hosting at my house. They were just so sweet. You know,
they were cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully we run into them.
Absolutely. But what's interesting about that show, or more interesting, and it was relevant to this episode, is that my friend Moss here headlined last night's house show.
Yeah, I was there. I was
I
was the PA system.
I was the mixer. The mixer that we only plugged 1 condenser mic into.
There we go. We were there in spirit. But we were also there in person.
It was my house.
Basically, yeah, you played, and then I played with you for a little bit. Which
Yeah,
cool.
that was cool, because we have a song that we worked on together. We released, I don't know, anyone who's read my written blog or, just knows me or follows me on Instagram would know for the last few months that we released a song.
It's got like 1,000 listens on Spotify.
That's pretty lit, huh?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's called Tempest. It's got Moss's sort of I hate to say it this way because I don't think you like this description of it. But this like industrial quality to it.
No, I mean I can feel that.
Yeah.
It definitely. I wanted it to feel like it was a marching tune, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's got that. And what's interesting, it's marching, but it's in 3/4, so it's sort of like a It's like marching with a limp or something.
That's
It's creepy
good.
though.
It's also a good lyric.
Yeah.
It's marching with a limp.
I imagine like skeletons marching or something like that. Like Ball and Chain or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We had a vision for that song.
Yeah. Well, I was really proud of how that song turned out.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Did we say the name of the song?
Oh, it was called Tempest. Oh man.
On Spotify, Tidal.
Yeah.
Is it on Tidal?
I don't think it's. I haven't hit Jay-Z up about putting it on Tidal yet, but
Yeah.
maybe next month I'll do that.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway, after that, we had our touring band, MMCM. I just call it that because it's a lot of names to remember. Sorry, guys, if you're watching.
That's their Instagram handle, too, mmcm.band, so
yeah,
shout them out, yeah.
We'll put like a text right here.
Well, I don't think they like stopped. YouTube stopped allowing people to do that a while ago. So, but I can put it in the description.
Damn.
Yeah, I know, right?
Cut that part out. We don't need that part. And then I went up after MCM, and it was a good show. I feel like the system in a living room sounded really good for what it was.
Absolutely.
And the people who were intently watching really had a good time. And I mean, what else do you want from a show?
Yeah, I think there was a good amount of people who were really into it. It was cool, It was different than the other ones because we had to be selective about it. We didn't really know, we weren't trying to throw some kind of like raging house party thing because it's an intimate acoustic show or semi-acoustic. But we had a select group of people that had been. Everyone who went to the show had been to a previous show before, and.
Yeah, no, it was chill.
Yeah, it was really chill. I think it was good vibes. I think people were entertained by the music.
There's a lot of glitter.
There was so much glitter. In fact, my roommate / landlord informed me this morning that there is a new rule whenever we have house shows in the future, and that is no glitter allowed.
Ooh, that glitter makes the party.
Yeah, maybe a little too much. Yeah. So actually, I want to talk about your week leading up to that house show, or maybe it was before that, because I know you just got back from Portland recently, right? You took a trip up there.
That's true. Yeah, it was the last weekend. I got back on Monday, and I've been preparing for this house show. It's weird because I only had like 4 days to practice, and
oh man,
because I made it. Basically, my priority was to get all the mixes down for the show before I left to Portland, and then once I got back from Portland, I would have 4 days to practice. I feel like that was a good timeline.
Yeah, I think so for sure. You want to? How was your trip to Portland? What'd you do? Who'd you see?
Yeah, no, Portland. Oh, man, I love that place. Portland is just actually the city of harmony for millennials.
That's a bold statement. Let's see how it plays out.
Like, there's just people there that are around our age, which is something that you don't really get that much in Napa.
It's true. Most of us are, the industry workforce.
Exactly, but
no time for play.
they play in Portland.
That's awesome. I love Portland. I've been there a couple times myself. I'm pretty sure we know a lot of the same people up in Portland too.
Yeah, no, I stayed with the boys.
Kevin and Alex.
Yeah. Bruno was there. Devin was there. These are all just people you used to be in a band with.
Yeah, and you used to be in a band with one of them.
And I used to be in a band with them. So they're just like part of the Napa music scene. And they went up
in spirit forever. They're always with us.
Yeah.
Even though they abandoned us.
The other day I went to Napa Music Supply.
Yeah.
And saw like a poster of my old band from high school on my wall.
Which band was that?
The Radio Effect.
The Radio Effect.
Yeah.
I loved the Radio Effect. There was a Radio Effect show that I went to back in the day. It was at a quinceañera. It was my favorite.
Whoa.
It was my favorite local show at the time, I think.
Wait, I remember that, dude.
Yeah, I want to say it was circa 2012 or 13 or something. So that was over 5 years ago now. Ooh.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And we just like rocked the crap out of that quinceañera.
That was a good one. It was like Lalo's sister's quinceañera or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember being very underdressed because I had never been to a quinceañera before. I was about 19 or 20, hanging out. All my friends were in this band. I was friends with a couple of members.
Why are you taking seats?
This is a weird episode to talk about after we just watched To Catch a Predator. Oh, man. No, so I had never been to a quinceañera before. I was literally just going to go support my friend's band, and so I just kind of stood in the back, and I was wearing like a hoodie and jeans, and everyone else is in formal
No,
wear.
that's the thing. You gotta like take the gig. At that point, you're like a high school band, you know.
Absolutely.
And
no, and the kids loved it.
Yeah, sister really wanted us to play. And
no,
like,
I remember every kid in that place was getting down to it. They're all dancing like hella hard. Yeah, that was a cool show. That was a cool show.
I mean, I remember
I had to stand in the back, my arms folded because I felt uncomfortable just being surrounded by teenagers the whole time.
Yeah, no, I mean that was I feel like we had a good dynamic. We were like a pop rock, indie pop rock kind of thing, which was very popular at the time with like Vampire Weekend, Two-Door Cinema Club.
Yeah, absolutely. That era that was killing it. That was the genre.
Yeah, exactly.
Phoenix.
I mean, we were a little less electronic, which is probably like a downfall of our band, you know.
That could be a whole other episode, the downfall of the radio.
We'll talk about that. I need like 2 more glasses of wine to do that.
Well, you're still friends with all those guys in the Radio Effect, right?
Yeah, I know. That's the great thing is like they've all kept in contact for the most part. You know, it's like an episode or just one of those movies. What is that director that makes those like children movies about like coming of age and stuff? Wes Anderson.
That's not what I call children's movies. I mean, kind of. Well, Fantastic Mr. Fox. All right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I mean, and the one about the children coming of age, and you know, I'm looking back in my seat.
Rushmore?
No, it's not Rushmore.
That's one of my favorite movies. I wouldn't call it a kids movie.
Anyway, it's about. I'm just like looking back, and I'm like, yeah, those are the days. But now Theo is doing big things in Florida as an engineer, and Lalo.
And his solo project, American Psy.
American Psy.
You did a collaboration with them, didn't you, last year?
I did, yeah. No, that was a great collaboration.
Real Friends, right? Was it called Your Friends?
Moss. Your Friends.
Yeah.
It's spelled U-R Friends. You know, like text language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
I mean,
it's a good song though. It's a jam.
We kind of got the inspiration from like a Kanye song, I think.
Real Friends? How many of us?
Well, it's basically the same message, I think.
Yeah. Trust issues. That's a great song. You know what song I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kanye is great.
When was the last time I remembered a birthday?
I mean, I'm going to say Kanye is great, but I'm not going to vote for him for president.
Well, I don't want to get into politics in this. We're going to segue out.
I don't even want to consider that politics. That's insane to say. Like, I don't.
There's some other things
there are
some other things I would have considered insane a couple years ago. But I don't know, man. I think anything's on the table now.
Anyway, I had a thing to talk about.
Oh, I had a thing to ask you.
Okay, you ask me. We'll get back to my thing probably.
All right. I hope you remember it. What I wanted to ask you is related to the Radio Effect, and so now your main musical project is Moss. And yes. it's your solo project. You write and produce all the music for it.
Yeah, that's my thing right now.
Yeah, but Radio Effect and Moss, very, very different sounds.
Yeah, that's true.
And I guess I just sort of want to...
I mean, Moss is my solo project, and Radio Effect was a band that was really like me and Theo. Like,
yeah, sure.
Together. We wrote everything together and like sang everything, both of us. And the weird thing was like I would write a song and then Theo would sing that song, and then if he wrote a song I would sing that song.
That's kind of cool.
And that's just like every
that feels like something like James Franco and Seth Rogen would do to each other.
Yeah. I don't even know why. You know the reason why was because the person who wrote the song wanted to do the cool ass guitar part, so the other person had to sing.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's kind of cool, actually.
Those are the days, yeah.
And then you get to hear your song through a different voice.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's very interesting.
And I love being in a band like that. But my project right now, Moss, is just me checking myself and me like kind of just unfiltered and it's just Moss. That's all it is. It's like no one else but Moss.
What's interesting,
nothing else but Moss,
is that so the Radio Effect was active back in what would you say 2011 to 2014 or something like that, 2015, kind of those years. Mm-hmm. And my old rock band, Invisible Monsters, or sometimes known as We Are Invisible Monsters. Cheers,
Invisible Monsters.
Was active around the same time. and we played some shows together. In fact, I think one of the very first Invisible Monsters shows I played was with you guys at Trinity Gold Media, which is now literally just about 2 blocks away from where I live at.
Wow, yeah, that's... Oh, man.
And I think
they shut down, right?
Oh yeah, they shut down a long time ago. But
it was so different back then. It's like,
yeah, that's sort of what I wanted to ask you about was how do you think the scene has changed, the indie DIY scene has changed back then compared to what we're doing now?
Well, first of all, I think that it is a lot of solo projects like Moss, Zach Fennie, Limbo, Save Gabe, Vets. We're all just doing our own thing, and like maybe that is more.
Sanho the Indian.
I see. I don't really know what it comes from, what it stems from, but back then there were bands on bands. A lot of bands.
There's not as many rock bands on our scene right now. There's a few that are kind of, or at least not as many rock bands that are like serious, that are out there like trying to make moves and play shows and release music.
I mean, that's what I was saying. Nana DiCarlo back in the day. You ever hear them?
I actually never got to see them live, but I heard some of their music. Robert used to play it for me on.
Yeah, that was the thing I was gonna say. Like back in middle school was the first time I saw them because they played at our middle school dance, and they were like in high school, like
that's hella cool.
Yeah, and we all thought they were the coolest fucking kids. Oh, can I say the word fuck? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it's YouTube. No one cares. If anyone's watched this far into it, that means they're invested. And I'm sorry if
this one's for you, Gabe.
We're totally flexing on Gabe right now.
Oh yeah.
By drinking wine during this. Gabe has a very similar podcast called Dream Chasers. And say Gabe was the first person I interviewed on this show actually. So it's nothing but an homage to him. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, where was I? Nana DiCarlo. Surfing James is still a thing back then. I mean, now they're not Surfing James anymore, but they were killing the game.
Now they've evolved.
They had the subtones.
The subtones were so lit, dude. Oh, what was Of the Garden?
Of the Garden.
That was lit.
Good.
Yeah.
Us as a Nation is like a post-hardcore band.
Mikey Reinhardt's band. Mm-hmm. He's someone I'm looking to have on the show in the future.
Yeah, dude, they were good. They won like Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, I was there for that. That's actually where I met Kevin for the first time and how I got introduced into the rest of that band and then kind of how I got introduced to the rest of everyone else in like that scene a little bit because I was sort of a loner to the music scene. I'd come back from boarding school shortly before that and I was just like looking for more musicians. So I went to this Battle of the Bands thing and I met Kevin. He was wearing a Slayer t-shirt and I was like, I like metal music.
There you go. I remember the first time I met you, you were wearing like a leather jacket and you were like leaning on your car like this with your sunglasses on, just like outside of like New Tech.
I didn't even go there. That sounds exactly like something I do today. Not outside of high school. That's weird.
I don't know why you were there. I feel like you were probably picking up Emily or something. Like,
something like that.
But yeah. And then I was like, damn, he looks like a musician. I was right.
Up against my 98 Honda Civic. Rip.
That is a definition of musician right there.
So, in between the Radio Effect and your current project, Moss, you have moved around different places. I know you lived in San Francisco for a little bit, and then you lived in Humboldt for a while. In fact, you went to Humboldt State, right, and graduated with a degree out there. I guess I was just sort of wondering, maybe not a whole life story, but sort of how those changes.
Yeah, no, I'll take you day by day.
The first day I left Napa.
I remember I drove. I do not remember the first day I left Napa. I remember driving from San Francisco to Humboldt, but I don't remember when I got to San Francisco and just said like, "Oh, this is my home now."
I feel that.
But
I guess my question was actually going to be how like those changes influenced your sound and influenced your direction as a solo project as Moss.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's an interesting story. All right, kids. This is how I met you. I met my sound. Okay, so basically, I started out. I just got out of like the Radio Effect, and I knew it was kind of like over with the Radio Effect. Like, we were all moving to different places.
It's like a breakup, man. It's like a relationship.
Yeah, well, mostly me and Theo were moving to different places.
That's so sad. It's like You want to stay together. You want to try the long distance thing.
I know it's hard.
But you just know, like,
you have a career and a family.
One day they're gonna want to play with someone else, and you're not gonna be around.
Oh, don't even say that. Okay, so I went to San Francisco and I just started like recording myself because I didn't really have anybody else that played music. I mean, my roommates like sort of dabbled, but they were never like in it like I was in it. I did have this really cool neighbor, Sean, and if you're watching this somehow, then I just want to say, like, you were an awesome musician and you really influenced a lot of my sound, like back in the day.
Right on.
He was my neighbor and my weed dealer. And he
those are the best kinds of neighbors.
But the way we met was a math rock record accidentally came to our house that he ordered instead of his, and we were like, damn, this guy's cool, he listens to math rock.
Did you open the package?
You
opened someone else's mail?
Well, it was a record, you know. Okay,
was it addressed to you?
Just cut this out. We can't have this anymore. Sean, I'm sorry. Okay, let me get back on track. So I started recording myself with just a little microphone I had. I think I started with like a Rock Band microphone, like a USB mic.
Oh, damn.
Put in GarageBand, and I just went at it. And I came up with a lot of good demos. I never really put any of that out, but I came up with like guidelines during that time.
Oh, nice. That's a good song.
Yeah. And actually, the recording of guidelines that's on the record, which I had a record, but we'll get to that.
This is like
you can just chop this all together, you know.
No, this is gonna be one long thing. It's way funnier that way.
Okay, well, you could hear my actual take of guidelines in the song that I just released. I just kind of recorded over it and made it like really low in the mix.
Which song? In Guidelines itself?
Yeah, in Guidelines.
Okay, so you took the original demo and just like recorded it. That's really raw. I like that.
Yeah,
it's a cool way to do that.
Yeah, not a lot of people know that.
Preserve that like kind of real like intimate sound.
Exactly. It's almost me singing with my old like former self.
Oh shit!
I know, right?
That's crazy.
But I got into just like singer-songwriter stuff. See, I was in a lot of like acoustic stuff. I feel like that was the thing that I've kind of always loved, is doing acoustic music.
You know, actually, that's I think when I first like, because I knew you as a member of the Radio Effect and like through mutual friends, but I think the first time that you and I was ever like interested in hanging out with you was after we both played like in open mic.
Before you
the first time you caught my eye.
Okay, yeah.
Was like when you did the acoustic version of Dress the Part at the Slack Collective open mic night, the same night that I played.
Oh yeah.
It was a cool one. And then didn't you play guitar for Living Examples at one of the
dude.
You were my OG guitarist.
I remember that, dude. I was like, every moment that you live in is a living example. Guys,
okay,
you have to look up. You have to look up this
Stop!
song.
We're not doing this.
Is there any copy online? I don't even think so.
It's all gone.
Damn. Just like scene redacted. It's like a black scene redacted.
Stand by.
So basically, I just focused on that. Oh, but then I got into a band when I moved out of my first apartment into my second apartment in San Francisco.
Okay.
And that band was called Babes. And
what a great band name.
I know, right? That was one of the driving forces of that band, was we had that great band name. We had to keep it going. But we played a few shows, and it was really cool, because everyone in that band was like a person my age, which is only like 19 or 20 at this point.
Yeah.
But they were all pretty good musicians. Like, my bassist was amazing. The only problem was we didn't have a drummer, and that
can kill a rock band sometimes.
Yeah, so our recordings were better, but anyway, lifelong friends with those guys too. Like, you always make lifelong friends with the music friends, you know?
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
110%. It's just like you shared that blood I was going for blood and bond, and it came out as blonde. You
shared
that blonde. Oh god, we're gonna have to take this.
You share that blonde. Okay, we'll take that out. It's cool.
The funny part is I'm not taking any of this out still. All
right.
This is the best episode so far. Absolutely.
And then I got to Humble, and when I got to Humble, I was like, all right, it's time to like get serious. I've been practicing, but I want to have a band. And that's when I got 5 Minutes Alone going, which was like my first like.
And what's that in reference to?
5 Minutes Alone is a Pantera song.
Oh, cool. I didn't actually know that. That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really like Pantera that much.
But respect, though. Pantera's hella lit.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I didn't know about that song until my bassist was like, ooh, what about this name? I'm like, that's a really cool name.
What? So, yeah, cool.
And we got pretty big in, like, Arcata. And we were playing everywhere. We had, like, a gig, like, every week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Consistent booking.
I mean, it was mostly house shows. That's the thing.
But the house shows, those scenes are so lit, though.
Dude, it was one of the most lit times. I mean, that music scene.
That segued into the next thing I wanted to talk about. Actually, was the Humboldt versus Napa music scene, because I know you were sort of an integral part of that, and now you're back in Napa. I'd say you're an integral part of the music scene here. I was curious what you think. What's the compare and contrast? What's similar and different about them?
Yeah, I really think you can make your own music scene. You know, you help make your own music scene.
Yeah, like you mean you as like you.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
you
okay.
Especially. But every single person, especially in a town like Napa or Arcata, is important.
Yeah.
Like every musician, I mean, every person doing
every
something.
person's important too. You matter. But
yeah. But in the music scene.
Yeah.
Or art scene, you know, because like Matt is important, and
absolutely
he is a media connoisseur. You know, he like controls part of the media in Napa.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he takes these videos. He takes.
Oh yeah,
photos.
absolutely. He's at all the events. He's reporting them and recording them. He's doing live videos, and he's taking photographs and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. No, he's definitely he's definitely active in the media part of that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And visual artists, and not just musicians, but I would even go to, I mean, definitely venue owners, things like that too. And sponsors and things.
Yeah, and all of that creates the music scene.
Yeah.
And what I can say about Arcata is it had the numbers that Napa doesn't have. You know,
numbers, people
attending.
Okay. Yeah. People attending shows. That's fair. What, are you talking about like the DIY scene out there, or sort of?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, it's so remote that that's all it is. You know, you could be the biggest band in Arcata, and I know the guys in the biggest band in Arcata, and you're not gonna like get out because it's 5 hours to every other major city, and
this is where we're going on.
And the population there is like 15,000.
Wow, that's compared to Napa. I think is at 80, maybe 90,000 at this point, or something like that. But the numbers there.
But granted, half 8,000 are college students.
Wow, that's crazy. It's crazy to think about that in a town.
I know.
Just a town full of young people.
It's just a town full of young people throwing house shows. And
those crazy kids.
Crazy kids.
Who do they think
We're gonna
they
have
are?
a fun time. We're gonna have a fun time.
All right.
But here, people are working harder, and there's more potential, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to the Arcata scene, but I definitely see what you mean by the potential thing, because I think a town like Napa only gets bigger and it gets put on the map more every year. Like, you know, it's a tourist town, and every season is busier than the last season. We haven't had a season that's been slower than the one before that, unless you count the fire season. And even then, I think the fires actually put us more on the map.
Wow.
In the long run, yeah, it was. Don't get me wrong, they were horrible. Like, it was, people lost lives, people lost things they can never replace. But it drove, it put Napa on the spotlight again when that was happening, or more in the spotlight. You know, and I think it made the touring economy kind of boom more in the previous years, and that's why we've been seeing more large-scale music opportunities. And what I mean by that is like more things like Bottle Rock and the Safeway Open concert series, and the Jam Sellers Ballroom series, and Blue Note, you know, hiring, legitimate.
I mean, we just had that lighted festival.
That was so cool. That was the coolest thing I've seen in Napa yet, I feel like. And I've been to Bottle Rock.
I know. That was really cool. Good job, Napa.
It was way cooler than I thought that was going to be.
Honestly, next year, like, people are going to hear about it, and there are going to be bands booked for that.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. We know what you got to do.
Yeah, we do.
But, yeah.
It's Fennie Town, baby.
No, that was so... Man, Lighted Art Festival is one of the coolest, definitely one of the coolest things. Well, basically what it is they took the entirety of downtown Napa and they installed something, what is it, like 15 different installations of lighted art. And what I mean by lighted art, like they had like projections that were conformed, like they were designed to conform to specific buildings and like
they were like programmed to the buildings.
Yeah,
so there's like the trimming.
Yeah, and they were really intricate projections. There's lots of like kind of trippy visuals, but there was also like straight up movies on some of them. Mm-hmm. There was like the Earth one that like zoomed in right above the building. That was crazy.
It felt like we were at Burning Man. I mean,
a lot of the installations actually were at Burning Man or were previous Burning Man installations. What I found out recently.
Wow, that's awesome.
The one at Vista Colina was that the one that we laid under.
That looked like a Burning Man.
Yeah, that was a Burning Man piece.
Damn. And then also they had hot air balloons.
That was so cool. You get to go up and actually like pull the lever and make the flames go up.
Good job, Napa. I'm so happy.
Napa killed it, especially in January.
I know.
That's the thing is like with this is January right now. This is the slow season. Mm-hmm. Like, and the fact that Napa's still doing cool things like that to make it interesting and entertaining for the locals. And obviously the music and the entertainment goes hand in hand with that. Like the Bands in the Bay show was at Blue Note a few weeks ago.
That was very successful, yeah.
That was a very successful, sort of the first attempt to do what I'd call like a Slims or a Great American Music Hall style show at the Blue Note, which is where they bring in local bands that are really tight and are polished and have a following in the Bay Area. And they put them in a somewhat classy venue, but it's still this... Excuse me, I'm losing my voice.
Played a lot of shows.
I did. I played 15 hours worth of music this weekend.
Love your work, guys.
Diligite opus. No one's gonna remember how to pronounce that. What was I talking about again now?
Digimon.
Shout out,
dude. My favorite.
Barnett
Digimon.
Vineyards Pinot Noir.
Dude, pour me up some of that shit.
Oh. All right. Well, I think we're probably getting close to wrapping up this episode. We've been going on for a good amount of time, but I think we covered a lot of cool stuff in this one. But I do want to ask you if you have any like future plans or things you wanted to announce or talk about, or just maybe plant seeds out there for people to think about.
Yeah. So basically, this will be the year of Moss.
2019.
I got a single coming out soon. Definitely look out for that. I have a couple of them, but I'm going to space them out. Then we're getting a music video, hopefully. That's in the workings. You know, everything is coming up right now, I think. But
what about live? You planning a tour anytime in the near future?
I don't know what you're talking about.
And that's been Word on the Street number 3.
Wait. No. You might have heard that. I got a tour coming up in April with this guy.
What?
This guy right here.
Me?
That dude on the corner and Moss going up to PNW, Pacific Northwest, April. Be there.
That's crazy. That's the first I've heard about this. I gotta go mark my calendar right now.
Yeah, I hope you could come.
Yeah, me too. That would be awesome. All right. Well, this has been Word on the Street number 3.
Yeah.
Thank you, Moss, for being on the show.
Thanks
It's been a lot of fun, man. We'll see you next week for another episode. Oh, make sure you follow us on Instagram. Oh, I want to give a quick thank you real quick before we end this. I just got 2,000 followers on Instagram today. And I just want to thank everyone who's watching this for following me and supporting me, because that means the world to me.
Zero.
That was the year the world was supposed to end, the first one. And
How
anyway,
do we know it didn't though.
What?
How do we know it didn't?
Fade to black. You can follow me on Instagram at that dude on the corner. You can follow Brandon on Instagram at Moss Marked. It's MOSSMARKED.
Yep.
All right, yeah.
Thank you.
And that's that. Just keep up with us, and thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, peace out, guys.